first time to Israel. He's with us, he's with our leader, and he is fighting everywhere and meeting many people, lots of important people who is trying, he's trying his best to help.
Please, can you
to free
so I can cover this?
So I represent to you Shaul Meisel.
Thank you, Rachel. I've met Mr. Kanu several times here in Israel. I interview him also in the radio and TV. And I met a wonderful person, kind, clear, honest, a real leader of the jury of Biafra. And I beg the ambassador of the British Embassy, please let Nnamdi Kanu go free from jail, from persecution, and take care of him. I know that his situation there is very dangerous for his life. He is sick. He needs pills, he doesn't get it, even the food. We would like to beg and to ask. We would like to beg and ask. Please free him and give liberty, give freedom to all the Biafra Jewry.
This country, I'm telling you now, and that's why you don't want to know. In May of this year, there were 679 male youths murdered by the military in Biafra land. In a Commonwealth country, you tell me any other Commonwealth country where nearly 700 people are murdered in 40 days and you don't broadcast it. Why? Why can you keep quiet? The atrocities that are happening there would not be allowed in any other country in the world. And yet you accept it because you're corrupt. You are corrupt to the core. And eventually when Biafra gets its freedom, which he will do, whether you people want it or not, then the truth will come out and it will not look favourable on the UK. Because when the UK loses all its interest in Africa, which again it will do because the African countries are sick of being ruled by corrupt people. And the biggest corruption of all is from the UK. No two ways about it. And when the African countries are free, nobody will come to bail out the UK. I'm telling you now, because of everything you've done throughout the world. We say you can't rewrite history. No, you can't. Yes. But you can try and change the future. Yes. And you have no regard whatsoever for human life. It's as simple as that. Yes. You talk about Black Lives Matter. It matters nothing to you whatsoever. In fact, no lives matter to you as long as it doesn't affect the ruling of your resources which you're getting from the African countries. So, but we'll be back here. We'll be back here again, and we'll be back here until you listen and you allow Biafra a referendum and they will be free. God bless. All hail Biafra.
Hello, good afternoon, viewers. This is Satellite Media. The Biafra evangelist, Evangelist Ben. Let us look at these protests that erupted in Israel. The people demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. You can clearly see Igbos, Biafrans, and Israeli citizens demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Let me get immediate reaction.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching us from. I remember my humble self, that Biafran evangelist, that will always speak on the axis of the truth and nothing but the truth. I'm ready to end by it. You know, I am very, very much happy that our brothers are now seeing the truth of what we that are here are crying for. That the truth has been marginalized and truth has been covered, truth has been destroyed. in this country. And when you speak the truth, you become an enemy. You know, I am happy that the people in Israel are now protesting for the freedom of their own son. And let me tell you this, you know, Igbos came from the ashes of Seth, the third son of Adam. And where the current Israel today that you and I are talking about came from the generation of Abraham. So they are now protesting, fighting for the freedom of their brother that is under captivity of Nigeria, the captivity of the Fulanis, the captivity of Nnamdi Kanu statement called Zoo. Do you understand me? And if you watch, what makes Nnamdi Kanu to stand against the darkness country called Nigeria is because of the attitude. And for your information, in the first instant of Nnamdi Kanu movement, he moved the motion on how that Nigeria will go in a better way, so that the Easterns, the Biafrans, in their own side will have equal right that the Northerners have, and likewise the Yorubas. And this equal right is what Nigeria have deprived the Biafrans. And for your information, I want you this opportunity again to throw more light. What brought the Civil War was not as a result of Ojukwu disagreement. It was as a result of the British not wanting Nigeria to develop. If you go and study about the Aburi Accord, you will discover that Ojukwu meant well for Nigeria, but the British did not meant well for Nigeria. They are the one who scatter and divide Nigeria and cut the war and brought the war, and that was why they collided with the Russia and to kill the Igbos, to commit the genocide, and which they go on today is the president that signed it up for them to come and kill us.
We understand that they say blood is thicker than water. Could that be the reason we are seeing this massive protest in Israel?
That is why I refer you back to the Bible, where it started. Do you understand me? That is why today the Israelis are now protesting, telling the world that you are holding their brother captive, because Egypt, Pharaoh, must allow the Israelis anywhere they are to be free. It has been mandated by God in the realm of the spirit that Biafrans, which are the Israelis, must not be in bondage any longer. So Nigeria shouldn't be the ashes of which the Biafrans should remain in bondage.
But I understand that the Court of Appeal in Nigeria at the point ruled that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria and saw that it should be released unconditionally. And consequent upon that, we saw UN working group on arbitrary detention asking the Nigerian government to release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. But the Nigerian government has not obeyed that, and the case is still on. But the way it stands, do you see Israel, because there is a trending video, another one, where some Israelis said that they will never abandon Biafra, that their government, the same way their government helped Biafra during the war, that they stand by Biafra.
Yes, you know, it's talking about what? Obeying the court order. And let me tell you this, the UN have come, the Israeli and other departments have come to Nigeria. Yes, I understand the fact that Nigeria is a Soviet nation. You understand me? I know this. But being a Soviet nation, there is a limit of which you can act against the human's right. Even the right of your citizens, you cannot continue to deprive them of their right. You understand? It works to some extent. So Nigeria should adhere to the what? To the advice and instruction given to them by this department, by all these both international and the local departments. In a country like Nigeria, they don't supposed to hold Nnamdi Kanu up to this very day, because you dare not violate your own law by yourself.
Yeah, use your hand set law. And
yeah, you set the law and you break the law. You can't think you would die. You see the angle that Nnamdi Kanu stood. And that if you check it, you will see that Nnamdi Kanu is holding Nigeria according to Nigerian law, not even international law, but according to Nigerian law. You see why Nigeria is finding it difficult and they cannot have a better backup from the international standard, international countries. Do you know that whenever I think of this country called Nigeria, I weep? Because the reputation of this country is going down every day. It's going down every day. Nigeria doesn't have respect anymore in international basis. You understand me? They don't have a value again.
Now talk to us about those Israelis who said that the same way Israeli government supported Biafra during the war, that they will always stand by Biafra.
Let me tell you, Israel did not actually support Biafra during the war. In 1967, they did not actually, they have it in mind, but you know, as at that time, Israel was facing a series of war. There were facing about 7 countries in the war, which at the end of the day, so they were too busy. You get it? They were too busy to help. But the game has changed now, because this time around, if anything should erupt, it will not going to be easy, because they will come out fully and they are giving you the sign. They are telling you now that these people, they are not going to leave them. They have seen it, that these people are their brothers, they are family, they are blood, and you have already said it, that blood is thicker than water. So I cannot allow my blood to be messed up or to be wasted like that. My blood is my blood. If anything happens to my blood, I have the feelings. What touches my brother touches me. Okay, so that is what they are telling Nigeria, the impression they are bringing to the world, that these people are our brothers, that you dare not treat them anyhow. The way you have treated them, enough of it.
Okay, now let me bring this angle. The reason I bring this angle is very clear, because we understand that part of the reason we are seeing agitation for the sovereignty of Biafra because of the excesses of Fulani militias. And we have seen serious killing. They recently happened in Ondo. We have seen the one in Benue. We have seen the one in Benue. We have seen the one in Ebonyi. We have seen the one in Delta. We have seen the one in Enugu.
Yes.
But surprisingly, this recent increase in Fulani military killing started after the American Air Force Commander for Africa and Europe, talking about James Hecker, made it very clear that American government will be targeting terrorists in Africa. And as we speak, they already hit some terrorists in Somalia. Do you think Americans' position is fueling Fulani military to kill more in Nigeria?
Yes, in a way, it's fueling them, because it's like a triggering the spirit of anger in them. And these are one of the reasons why we, the Biafrans, which our leaders, Nnamdi Kanu, that is in the custody of Nigeria, is now saying that because of this killing, and the federal government is not doing anything on this, let everybody answer his father's name.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you this, before Uncle will answer your own papa name, now my papa name I go answer. And let me tell you this, have you ever seen where a Fulani man being arrested and judged to death sentence and gives death sentence? Have you ever seen that in Nigeria? Many of them that have been captured they have joined them with the military, say they have repented Boko Haram.
But not all Fulani are criminals anyway. But the point here is,
I know that.
Currently as we speak, the chairman of Nature, talking about Botejo, is in detention because federal government through Nigerian army accused him of banditry. And he was arrested and detained. Federal government has secured a court order to keep him for 2 months to enable them to conclude investigation.
What stopped them not to call him, tag him terrorist, and judge him to death? And
no, he has not been tried and found wanted by anyone.
He has not been tried. But a man in Benue who defended himself in his own land, which the Fulani came to attack him, to kill him, to take his life in his own farmland, he defended himself. Nigeria quickly capture him and sentence him to death. Then Simon Ekman, they quickly conclude and call IPOB and Simon Ekman a terrorist, and Simon Ekman the sponsor of terrorists. Tinubu said that.
I will still come back to this Fulani military, but let me quickly bring this angle, because as we speak, the world talking about maybe UN, European Union, talking about maybe countries of the world like America, Britain, Russia, name it, did not see IPOB
as a terrorist
organization. We all saw the redeclaration of Biafra in Latin Finland under the watchful eye of international media. Are you worried that the Nigerian government see them differently from the way they work?
Yes, I am worried, and that is why they are maltreating us like that. Because if truly that we are terrorists, I don't think that the British will give us asylum. Because you cannot give freedom or free movement from the terrorists to enter into your country. And you know what? That they havoc those terrorists will cause in your country. So we are not terrorists. I want to bring your memory back on what happened in Gaza. Remember that Rafah crossing to Egypt. As at that time, remember, Egypt refused to open border for them to cross to that side. True of us, you remember, you know, because they don't want the Hamas to come and cause problem for them, because they know what they can do. So if truly IPOB is what? Is a terrorist, people like British wouldn't have given us an asylum. So the people of international bodies understand that we are peaceful people. That these people that call us terrorists are the people who intend to Islamize us, but we refuse to be Islamized. Out of that they stood to kill us all.
Okay, now let me
because we refuse to acknowledge.
Let me bring you back to the issue of Fulani military. We understand that going by global terrorism index, Fulani military is the fourth most dangerous terrorist organization in the world. Now, we have agreed that not all Fulani may be criminal.
Yes, of course.
How do we now differentiate between the Fulani militaries who are criminals, who are bandits, from the innocent Fulani?
Yeah.
On the one hand. Then secondly, we have seen a...
Let's treat it one after the other.
All right.
Now listen. If you say the all Fulani is not all are banditry, good and fine, because I still have you see some of them. You understand? They mind their business, they have what they are doing, and they see them being friendly, relating with the people, and some of them hate killing. You understand? Hate killing. So those ones you can go against are the ones you know. Those herdsmen that are supposed to be using pancreas, you are seeing them with AK-47 or 48. These are the people you should see as an enemy. You get it? I'm not saying all Fulanis as an enemy. I'm not saying that. No. I didn't say so. But those ones that goes to farm, and not even all that even carry their car to farm that whole gun. Get this. But out of 100, 80% of them still go with the gun, while 20% are with their pancreas. They are not that type of kind of violent. You understand me? So I'm speaking in the angle of those that are holding gun. That means they have a mission. So those ones with a mission should be seriously dealt with and seriously fenced. That is my own angle. You understand? Because they are the one taking lives. They are the one intimidating people. They are the one humiliating people. They are the one taking life and raping.
I know we have seen raping, maiming, kidnapping, ransom and all that. But let me bring this angle, because the current governor of Bauchi State, talking about Bola Mohammed, was vocal the other time, some years back, that the Fulani man is a global citizen, that they have liberty to move from country to country. I understand that they live a nomadic life. But again, this said at the time that the Fulani man go about with guns in order to protect his cow as he go about his legitimate duty. Is Fulani man justified to move around with some weapons?
No. I know Fulanis right from my childhood. I know them and I see them as people that control their cow with that their pancreas, that their stick. Not with a gun. Because you cannot use gun to control cow. They use pancreas to control cow. So how come about them using gun now? That means something is fishing. It is no longer what we see them or we regard them to be. It's what they are now. they are on a different mission. So, and that is why I am speaking in the angle I have spoken. You understand? They are now using gun, not pankele. So now they are using gun, they are on a mission different from what we know them with. And that their mission should be seriously looked into and deal with it. You get it now? And that just, they have freedom according to them. Yeah, they have freedom to move, which they have been moving. But why people are now complaining or lamenting today is because of the changes among them. They no longer move with the pankele, they now move with the gun. And not just only moving with the gun, they force you into your farm, force their cow to destroy your crops, and that the people's crop that the farm they are destroying is the source of somebody's income, is somebody's source of survival, is somebody's source of living. And you are destroying. If the person talk, you take the life of that person because you have gun. If you see women, then you rape them. They are not known with all this character before. But now we are seeing them with this. So definitely they are not what we think.
Okay, now let me bring this angle to this conversation. Perhaps this is political, but I'm taking my attention to River State, where the President, Senator Amabola Tinubu, invited the panel yesterday, had discussion with them, and in the course of the discussion, he acknowledged them that they should come and talk to their people. There's every need for everyone to submit to rule of law. Talking about the Supreme Court judgment that recognized Martin Amaule's led House of Assembly members that are loyal to Wiki. And it was looked like the government, meaning talking about federal government, being apprehensive, scared that this crisis in River State may degenerate into a position where militants may start maybe pumping oil installations. So we have seen a militant group that sprung up the other day that goes by the name of Niger Delta Rescue Mission, saying that if you deprive River State, if you delay River State's allocation, that they will deprive federal government of revenue. We have seen a similar thing in the past, though it was not because revenue was deprived from any state. Talking about Yaradua time, when federal
not only Yaradua time, even Obasanjo
places in Niger Delta. But do you think the Niger Delta militants will hold federal government to ransom to make sure that revenue?
Of course, you cannot undermine anybody, especially those set of people. They have given to government, federal government before. Federal government have tested their strength. At least during the time of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, you and I saw what happened. Even to the point that even in the water, the soldiers have a but what happened? You cannot conquer them. It is their land. It is their land, and they own it. They own those places. They know the in and out of the place. You cannot withstand them. So what my own humble advice I want to say here is that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should play with caution, and he should as well call Wike to order, because Wike has once been the governor of River State, and somebody left that city before him. Did Rotimi Amechi trouble him the way he troubling Fubara now?
Now let me bring this angle again, because someone like Asaidu Kobo have not hidden his position. He's from Fubara. And you have made it very clear that if they remove Fubara, that not will happen. He said, I tell you that something will happen. Do you think actually something will happen?
My brother, I say that all those people, don't underrate them. They are the one. Remember when Fubara traveled one certain time like that, when Fubara traveled, they refused to give him allocation. He traveled, they hand over the place to them, and everywhere was shut down. You remember? So if you say that nothing will happen, and you now try to remove Fubara, then you remove. Something will happen. No? Those guys are behind him. They are his supporters. And the Mr. President calling the pandef, the elders, on what purpose? If the president did not have a special or personal interest in River State. When during Wike time and Rotimi Amechi, remember there was a crisis then. What happened? Muhammadu Buhari asked them, go and sort it out. And they settled it. Everybody go this way. And let me tell you what Wike is trying to do. Let me just tell you this openly. What Wike is trying to do, Wike wants to stand as Jagaba of River State. He wants to be the one dictating who to rule and who not to rule. And if there is anything that leads to the removal of Semi Fubara, Wike has automatically become the dictator in River State. And that is what he has been fighting.
That is Baba Sokwe.
Baba Sokwe. You understand me? That is what he has been pointing at, looking for. It's only Fubara that can withstand him. So Baba himself should play with caution. And at the same time, I see this step of Tinubu as a step of political campaign of 2027. He's already campaigning now, finding a way to buy their heart. You know how to spend money.
Okay, let me equally bring this angle because even the governor have made it very clear that he's going to obey the court judgment. At the instance of receiving the certified true copy of the judgment, he asked the elected local government chairman to vacate their offices. And he have indicated interest that he is going to represent the 2025 budget as demanded by the House. But currently, he has sent a letter to the House, and they say he didn't send the letter properly because it was endorsed by the Secretary of the Government instead of the Governor. Do you think, and we have seen series of 48 hours of ultimatum coming from the House against the Governor, in what looked like setting a trap for the Governor in order to impeach the Governor? Yeah. Do you think the House is determined to remove that Governor?
In a way, in a place where the law being followed, there are every procedures the governor must follow, of which if he fails, he will face the impeachment. But you know, in Nigeria, law doesn't go. We don't follow the law. We go against the law, except when the governor, or I say the governor, the president is interested, just like what happened in Imo State. The president will give, you understand? Because the people you are going to meet in the court of law, the judges, is owned and being controlled by who? The judiciary is controlled by who? By the president. They tell them what to do, what to judge, and they go by it. And you cannot do otherwise. And that is what played in Imo State. And that is what I've been playing in other places in Nigeria, which you and I know. So likewise, this one now, if such if Fubara knows what to do, let him make sure that the law did not hold him. You understand? He did not go against the law, so that they will not see a loophole to hold hand in order to carry out their evil activities against him. And let me tell you, in addition to this, if president or Nigerians or all those leaders, some people like Wike and the rest and what have you, are telling him to obey the law, why is it that Nigeria is not obeying the law too? Why are they violating their law too? Even in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, why didn't they obey the law? And let me tell you another thing you don't know. Since the very day Fubara declared himself as an Igbo man, that he know that he's from Igbo, that day he made himself an enemy.
Okay, maybe that is why they are fighting him.
That is why they are fighting him. And that is why Mr. President have put him out to support Wike. And that is why they are looking for every loophole in order to hold him. And that is why they are making their moves of bribing and corruption that have eaten Nigeria up, to bribe the heart of those men, so that they will shift away from Fubara's back.
And before Azutan Bata emerged, the President General for Hanes Igbo, of course, he had the backing of Fubara.
Yes.
So it got to show that actually Fubara is for Igbo.
Fubara is an Igbo man. And it is the day, I say, right from the very day he declared himself and he made it known to the people that I am an Igbo man. That day he became an enemy to Nigeria. That very day.
Does that go to show that the Igbos are enemy to Nigeria?
Igbos are not enemy to Nigeria, but Nigeria is an enemy to Igbos because they don't want anything good to happen in Igbo land. They don't want anything good. Do you know that the way Port Harcourt is now, if that water, if importation should be allowed to take place in that axis, don't you know that Port Harcourt will be more developed than the way it is now.
Now, say that
and Nigeria doesn't want it.
Say that at the instance of Fubara declaring that he's an Igbo man, he started getting this attack.
Yes.
Why is Igbos envied in Nigeria if that is the case?
Igbos, Israel are envied in the world, even in the Middle East. They are being envied because they are highly blessed by God. They are highly favored by God. They are highly valued and valued by God. They are most precious people, peculiar people, a holy nation, specially preserved and reserved and owned by God. They are special. They are not two. Go and check every country in Africa. There is no other country except Nigeria that have people like Igbos. Every other places are the Igbos that travel to the place, not that they are from the place.
Are you saying Igbos are endangered species in Nigeria?
That is the way Nigeria is seeing them. And that is the way Nigeria is taking them. And that is why our life has been endangered, being together with Nigeria. Because of what? Strife, envy, and greed. Strife, envy, and greed. Let me put it to you. Had it been that all these resources Nigeria are using to develop other places is coming from the axis of the north, are you telling me that we are still going to remain the same? They would have departed. Everybody would have gone its separate ways. True or false?
So better still, it is the oil that is keeping Nigeria together.
It is the oil, though, not just oil. Go to the gas in Imo State and every other thing that comes from the Igbo land. That is what is keeping Nigeria. This thing that is the mineral resources that is in the north. How many times is Nigeria using it? How many times are they benefiting from it? How many times have they, generate money from it and use it for the development of this country? And which you and I know. No. So everything, that is why they are fighting that thing, because they know that the importance of it. They know what that thing has, the blessing that thing has given to Nigeria. And if you watch an international body, why is it that if they want to do that, we'll be giving them, oh yeah, come and suck oil, come and suck oil. You never tell them, oh yeah, come and for Yoruba land go collect cuckoo, or go to north to go and collect all those their.
Are you saying that the government often use oil to negotiate?
Out of 199%, they use oil to negotiate.
At the expense of Biafra?
At the expense of Biafra.
Is this something you have on good authority?
He said what?
Is this something you have on good authority?
On good authority?
Or you are speculating?
I'm not speculating. It is something that you and I know. Nigerian Federal Republic of Nigeria is aware of it. Why is it that the British doesn't want to hands off from Nigeria?
Is it Britain who are ruling Nigeria?
Don't you know that they are contributing 60 to 65%?
I don't know. Maybe you should educate me.
I'm telling you now. Go and do your findings.
Educate me.
Now, listen and listen good. Did you know when UK doesn't want your own development because they want to continue to rule you? They want to continue to control you, because if they should allow you to go the way Aburi Accord was arranged, then Nigeria will become greater than the Great Britain.
Now, and then,
wait, now
Britain is ruling by 60%.
I'm coming. And on this, why I said they are ruling by 60% is that they dictate and they decide who rule. And they check every one that comes out for president, he must go to UK and they must have a bilateral agreement. And if you did not agree on that time, definitely you can never get what you want in Nigeria as a president. Remember, during the time of Abacha, Abacha dealt with them, but how did they end? Immediately they plotted for his downfall. At the end of the day, he vanished.
But still on Igbo's marginalization, still on the hatred for Igbo, what is that major reason why the Igbo man or the Nigerian factor do not want an Igbo man to succeed?
No, they don't want Igbo man. The reason is this: hatred. And that hatred comes from the time that the whites came to Nigeria. When they came to Nigeria, they started in the Calabar side, Azus, those river states, you remember? And they started using their women anyhow, contrary to the culture of the land. which prompted the youth and the people of the land to start killing the Oyibos. Hello? And because of this, the taking life of the Oyibos make them, push them. Lord, look at now move it out of Eastern region. They now move it down to Lagos. You know, Port Harcourt was the capital before. True or false? In Nigeria, it was the capital. Then because of this, they now move it down to Lagos here. Before IBB now took it away from Lagos and moved it to Abuja. So these are the reasons. And let me tell you, another thing is, you know, that their way of ruling tax. You know, Easterners don't know anything. We don't like tax. You know, tax is an enemy to every Eastern man. We are not used to that. So when they now recruit men for that tax, collecting people's money, we are not used to it. We go against it. And if you watch the first riot in Nigeria, that goes against the first constitution in Nigeria, Clifford Constitution 1922. You know, Nigeria was being ruled. That women are barred in 1929. You know, they ruled Nigeria without a constitution. Remember, initially they were ruling Nigeria without a constitution. So when Clifford now came up, he said, no, these people should not be controlled this way. There should be rules and regulation, which prompt and brought all this tax and whatsoever that provoked the women. Do you understand? All these things. So because of that, that hatred now erupts from the British, and they now pass the message to every other Nigerian, much especially to those uneducated ones as at that time in the northern part of Nigeria, which are the Fulanis. And you know, in 1914, as at that time, when they moved the racing down to Lagos, they named it Nigeria. And that was when the Manfodio as well moved to Nigeria, the same 1914, his people to Nigeria. So when they now saw that this people system of government, you know, suit to their own idea, so they quickly grab it and empower them. They now move down to Yoruba. They succeeded 70%, but in the east they failed woefully. You see why? Even when they want to hand over power, who signed the document of handing over power? Despite the fact that the Easterners are the one, remember, are the one that who fought for the freedom of Nigeria. And this is one of the things that the British doesn't want, because they want to have a full control. Only God knows when and how long they want to control Nigeria. But now, the Igbos contributed to the repression of Nigeria from their hand. So it's not, they are not happy about it, and they choose to hand it over to the one that cannot be able to question them.
I think this is a good place to let it go. I must say, very thank you for your time.
God bless you.
This is Satellite Media, and I'm Mr. Matthew. Hope to have you next time.
God bless
you very much.